Okay, what is going on YouTube? Welcome to this next episode of FPL Family. My name is Lee. This is Sam, and I am glad, Sam, I'm glad that I've had an hour and a half maybe to calm down since that Liverpool game. I do tend to get a little bit emotional when we're playing badly, and Liverpool were not good today, were they not?
That is not what I would call a little bit emotional.
I was getting a little bit emotional, so much that when the Mane goal got ruled out, we have, obviously you guys that have been watching us for a while will know that we have two cats, and we have this cat scratch post in our lounge. Now this cat scratch post, guys, is basically a concrete block with some very, very thick rope around it that the cats can scratch, right? So they don't scratch other things in our house. When the Mane goal is ruled out for handball by VAR, I've belted this cat scratch post with the outside of my foot. So much so, guys, I don't think I'm going to be playing football for a little while. I've really knackered my foot. I've really knackered it to the point where we put the kids to bed. I'm walking down the stairs and I'm like, oh, I can't put weight on that side of my foot. I'm like, I've probably knackered my foot. So much going on in that Liverpool game. So much going on. And LFC Twitter was full of, oh, Martin Atkinson this and VAR that. But guys, any of the Liverpool fans, if you're a Liverpool fan and you're in tonight, get in the live chat. We were not good. Manchester United, for their part, were very good, actually. Best performance from Man U for a while.
I mean, you did still get a point.
Absolutely. Didn't play well and we still got a point. So we absolutely nicked a point. But I'm happy. I'm happy that we've nicked a point because, frankly, we deserve nothing. United were good.
I mean, United were good. I have to admit, I left the room and went and peeled some potatoes. It was getting quite emotional in the front room. I thought, I'm out of here.
But do you know what, guys? That is the tip of the iceberg this weekend. The tip of the iceberg. We are not going to spend an hour talking about VAR. I easily could spend an hour talking about VAR. Some of the decisions this game week have been absolutely outrageous. As you guys were saying in the live chat, just as we were coming on, felt like on Match of the Day last night, there were more goals not being given than actually being scored. It was really bizarre. And actually with the goal that Liverpool scored, Lallana, how did I react to that? I literally did not celebrate because I was like, well, I feel like I shouldn't celebrate now because I've already had a goal that I did celebrate and knackered my foot. And I thought, well, that got ruled out. So when Lallana scores, I've not celebrated. I've sort of just sat and I'm waiting. That is not what football is about, guys. VAR is really, really doing my head in, to be honest with you. It's doing my head in. I can't stand it. Outside of that, I'm not going to throw anything. Don't worry. I'm not going to get any more angry than I was earlier. There's no more cat posts getting kicked. Don't worry about it.
The poor kids were like, what is wrong with
What
Daddy?
is Daddy doing and why is he hobbling around? So VAR is a joke. There's no doubt about it. Get in the comments below. Tell us what you think of VAR. I'd love to hear your thoughts, guys.
You're asking for trouble with that, aren't you? You are asking for trouble.
No, I want opinions. Twitter at FPL Family. Comments below, guys. Live chat comments. What do you think of VAR? I want to know. I'm interested in your opinions. I haven't got a poll on it, but that is coming in a future week. That's coming. But nevertheless, guys, without that, VAR to one side, loads to talk about at Old Trafford today. Loads to talk about from the London Stadium. You went, you saw it live.
Excuse me, do not call it the London Stadium.
Sorry, that's West Ham, isn't it? The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium of London, or whatever the fribbinelle you're calling it nowadays. I don't know. But loads going on.
Everyone knows what you mean when you call it White Hart Lane.
Loads going on at the new White Hart Lane.
New White Hart Lane.
Absolutely nothing going on at Bournemouth versus Norwich, where we were expecting a complete goal fest and it's 0-0. I mean,
I'm so pleased about that. Having no attacking players playing for either side, I was thinking when I saw that result, I was like, what? I've got lucky there.
Absolutely bananas. Another, guys, bananas FPL game week. I don't know what it's going to take for me to get a captaincy option, captaincy choice right this season, or even to have a half decent game week. But
in a way, I know that there's a lack of consistency and everything else, but there's something brilliant about this season of FPL because it's so bonkers.
It's so random. It's so inconsistent.
Yeah.
And I was just as I was coming on, I tweeted. I had a look on FF Scout. So you guys, if you haven't checked out Fantasy Football Scout, definitely go and check them out. I'm pretty sure most of you guys will know who Fantasy Football Scout are. But in the top 10 BPS for this game week of players, of which Jack Grealish is at the top, Robertson is 10th. But from 1 to 9, I hadn't even hardly considered any of those players. And I'm pretty sure that I said that about that top 10 last week, and they were 10 totally different players. So it's not like we're seeing any consistency. We're not seeing any of the popular picks scoring any fantasy points. No. It is proper random this season.
But there's there's a bit of me that really loves that.
And I know. And I think it might have been...
Because it fits with my jammy ways, doesn't it? It fits with my, let's just pick somebody and hope for that. It kind of all fits with that. The fact that FPL this season is so random and it's so changeable.
Yeah.
Fits with my way of playing FPL.
Well, listen, one pick that you've spoken about a lot over the last couple of weeks has come right in for you again this game week. Callum Hudson-Odoi, we'll be talking about him a bit later on when we cover the Chelsea game, because Chelsea, again, created loads of chances, probably should have scored more than one goal. But again, Frank Lampard got to late in the game, tactical change, brought on Pulisic, took off Mount, and all us Mount owners are going, what are you doing? Pulisic changed that game, I'm telling you. Frank is a very tactically astute manager for a young man. Honestly, for a young manager. You know what I mean? Very, very good. Very, very good.
As well.
It's all right. Enough of that. Right. Before we get on to the questions, we've got some questions from the Twitter community. So, Twitterati, thank you for answering my request for questions earlier on today. Before we do get into the questions, we have to say happy birthday. A happy birthday to Azzy. It was Azzy's birthday today. 33rd birthday today. I hope Azzy doesn't mind me telling his age on live stream. 33 points this game week. Coincidence? Witchcraft. Happy birthday, Azzy. Happy birthday and welcome to the stream.
I was just thinking, I'm glad I didn't score my age. I'm glad my age isn't my score.
I'd love my age as a score this game week. I'd be very happy. I'll be very happy to score my age this game week.
Happy birthday, Azzy.
Here are the questions, guys. If you've never answered a Twitter poll before, little white eye above my head. Here you go. The first question is from Rushil. Thank you, Rushil, for the question. Is the Pukki party over? I said it on the FPL show last Thursday. I think there's still legs in the Pukki party.
And I told you to go to a different after party.
I'm pretty sure I am now. I don't even know if Josh is still at the party with me. I'm pretty sure it's just me on my own with a hip flask and a cold sausage roll in the corner at the Pukki party. And to be honest, guys, I've got other things in my team I want to sort out. With a sick bucket, because we're literally sick of Pukki getting absolutely nothing every game week. So is the Pukki party over? We think we know the answer to that one, guys, but Rushil wanted to know the question, yes or no. The next question comes from R-Dash. Thank you, R-Dash, for the question on Twitter. He is saying, now for the Liverpool double up, where do you want to go? Do you want to go Liverpool double in defence or Liverpool double in attack? Now, given that the Liverpool fixtures look pretty good from next game week, I know we got this. I know I was going to get the death stare. I knew I was going to get the death stare.
From next game week, you wait for us to turn up. We're not turned up for anything yet this year.
If we play like we did today, you got every chance.
We're not turned up for anything yet. We turn up at Anfield.
Oh, God. You could turn up at Anfield, but we also do turn up at Anfield.
I don't even know what motorway is, but we'll go up there.
Up the M6.
We'll turn up.
And then turn home with no points. Liverpool double up or Liverpool double up in defence or Liverpool double up in attack, guys. Get into the polls. Answer that question. Third question comes from, I think you pronounce that Yella or Jella. I'm going to say Yella, I think. So question from Yella. He says, Arsenal have great fixtures. Now, of course, we've still got Arsenal to watch this game week.
Come on, Lundstrom.
Oh, my God. It's come to this. We're sitting here waiting for a Lundstrom brace. It needs to happen.
I benched him,
but he's coming on because of
Salah,
Otamendi and whoever else, right? But
I benched Otamendi as well.
Lundstrom is coming off of pretty much everyone's bench, I think, this game week.
And Rico,
so we're all looking
is off
for
a lot of people's benches.
If you've got Rico coming off the bench,
yeah.
Very happy indeed, very happy. But Yellow has asked, Arsenal have some great fixtures. We're yet to see them in this game week, but that is a fact, right? They do have some nice fixtures coming up. But Lacazette is coming back. So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep or get Aubameyang in? Are you going to go and replace Aubameyang with Lacazette, or are you going to go with no Arsenal attackers whatsoever? So there's a couple of options there. Go in the polls, answer Yella's question. The fourth question comes from FPL Merc. Thank you, FPL Merc. Very simple question. Buy, sell, or hold with Otamendi. What are we doing with Otamendi? Missed out this game week. And actually, City played two...
Back injury?
Something like that, coming off of the back of the international break. And
off of the back of a back injury.
Back of a back. And Pep was kind of saying, oh, well, he's a bit injured, a bit not injured. Well, when I saw that team sheet, I mean, what was your reaction when you saw the Man City team sheet against Palace this weekend?
Don't fancy defending today?
There was like no defenders. He was putting Fernandinho and Rodri at centre-half. I tell you what, they kept the ball really nicely.
Yeah.
And all right, they might have got caught out once or twice positionally, but they look far more secure than Otamendi. And Stones come on, and of course there's now a risk of that as well, potentially, from an Otamendi perspective. So City's first clean sheet in a while, I think. I don't know that, but I think their first clean sheet for a bit. No Otamendi. Is that a coincidence? So what are you going to do with Otamendi? Hold, sell, or buy? And the last question comes from Kun Karam. Thank you, Karam, for the question. He is saying, what was the biggest troll of Game Week 9? What was the biggest troll? Was it Pep not starting Aguero, which was the classic Pep Roulette trolling? Was it the Wilson and Abraham blanks? Which, of course, we spent all week talking about which one of those two would be best captain, didn't we? How much time and effort did you and I jointly put into last week talking about which of those two would be the best captain? The answer was neither. Is the Digne clean sheet the biggest troll of this game week? Everton. Have Everton now turned a bit of a corner? We're talking about Everton a bit later on because I'll tell you what.
Turned a corner? Are you joking?
Hey, listen, Andre Gomez in that team.
One game does not make him turn a corner.
To be discussed when we talk about Everton. But without Siggy slowing it down, sorry Sigurdsson owners, but Andre Gomez in the middle there, I thought that three of Iwobi and Bernard and Richarlison up front and actually Walcott had a good game. But we'll talk about that a bit later on. Is the Digne clean sheet trolling you? Or is the Jesus not squaring it to KDB the troll? What are you doing, Jesus? I know he's a striker. I know he wants to get goals. But oh my God, KDB was right there.
That's the most FPL thing that's happened this year.
Oh, listen, if that is the biggest troll of the game week, according to Kunkaram, get into the polls, guys. Little white eye above my head and vote for that. So those are the questions. We have 5 questions in the polls.
I forgot about that until you mentioned it again.
KDB, we'll talk about City in a while, but he actually could have had a 20-pointer this game week. If you captain KDB, I think you should feel a bit unlucky. One off the header off the post. There was a foul that is arguably an assist for a penalty in the box. There's that one there where Jesus should have squared it to him. All going on. On another game week, I feel like I could have had 60 points this game week. It's just what FPL is like. FPL is real thin lines. Like the Mane handball last season, that's given. And I get a Trent assist and a Mane goal. That's like 15 points, including bonus points. But we got, almost swore then, VAR. Almost swore. Very close to swearing about VAR. Let's say hello to a few people. Let's get in the live chat and say hello before I swear and hobble off on my broken foot.
Remember, this is a family stream.
I know it's a family stream, but I'm so red face emoji about VAR right now.
I think I should have done this stream on my own. Sent you for a calm down. Send you out for a run to calm down, but you can't run because you've hurt your foot.
I'll tell you what's happened is that since the Man United Liverpool game, I've spent that hour and a half calming down. Now we're on live stream and I'm talking about it again. I'm getting peed off again. I'm getting all worked up. Here we go. Azzy is in. Good evening, Azzy. Happy birthday to you. Josh is in FPL telling how you're doing. He said, called that 1-1. Just saying. Winky smiley. Thanks, Josh. Hey, listen,
to be
Josh.
fair, he did.
Listen, Josh. I'm happy we got a point. Trust me, I'm happy we got a point. We had absolutely an off day. The biggest off day we've had since the Champions League final. So I think
I told him that they were going to get smashed.
I think Josh was expecting to get smashed, to be honest with you. Steve Wynyard is in. Thank you for the super chat, Steve. And good evening. He says, United were good. I'm shocked. And VAR. And then just a little poo emoji, which pretty much sums up everyone's feelings about VAR. United were good. I'm shocked. You were, Steve. You absolutely were. FPL Addict is here. How are you doing, FPL Addict? Liam Healy is here. How are we doing? Evening, Lee and Sam. This is the last live stream until my birthday on Friday. Oh, it's everyone's birthday now.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. It's the third time.
It's everybody now.
There's somebody else messaged me to say it was their birthday. I can't remember who it was now.
Okay, well, happy birthday for Friday, Liam. Yeah. Mark Dorney is here. How are we doing, Mark? Gaz Temple. Very nice to see you, Gaz.
His name was Andrew.
Sean Thorpe is here. He of the Horses and the Ducks. And we had another really good Ask Us Anything, Volume 2, didn't we? Ohana.
Chickens and elephants.
On Friday, with a load of questions about chickens and elephants and all sorts of stuff about which player I would take to Spurs if I was a Spurs fan, and which player you'd take to Liverpool if you were a Liverpool fan. Some great questions, guys, in the Patron Slack. So if you want to go and check that out, if you're a Patron supporter of FPL Family, or you want to become a Patron family of FPL supporter
Easy
of
for you
FPL
to say.
Family. Yeah, I know. Still worked up about VAR. Let's have a VAR about that. Let's have a look at that sentence again, shall we? Let's try that again. Or if you want to become a Patreon supporter of FPL Family, the links are in the description. If you are a supporter, you can head over to Patreon. You can check out our Ask Us Anything Volume 2 podcast from last Friday. It was a corker. We had good fun doing that, didn't we? But it was because the guys asked such good questions, of which Sean was one. So thank you, Sean, for the questions.
I love the slackers.
Very, very good indeed. Andrew Yee is here. How are we doing, Andrew? Very nice to see you. Stealth Panda is here. Hello, he says. Hello, Stealth Panda. How are we doing? Barry Coleman, the week of the troll, he says. The week of the troll. Feels like most weeks, though, Barry, to be honest with you. I feel like most weeks FPL's trolling us in some sort of way.
I feel like we should have... the kids have got some little trolls. I feel like when we move house, we should get one of them, and it should live in our FPL Family room. And then whenever we're on the stream and somebody's trolled us,
Just point to the troll, or the little troll comes out.
Yeah.
We can make that happen, Sam.
I'm going to make that happen. Once we've moved and I've unpacked the kids' toy boxes, they're going to lose a troll.
Very good. Karam is here. How are we doing, Karam? Good evening. Welcome to the live stream. The Storm Legacy. That's an interesting name, isn't it? The Storm Legacy. Game week 9 has been wonderful, he says. The Storm Legacy. Very good. Josh S is here. How are you doing? Awuga Bricks is here and back. He says, trust in Sam. Vardy. Hudson-Odoi. He almost made the same transfers. Awuga Bricks. If you've been following us long enough, you would know. Trust in Sam. Do as Sam says. You will not go wrong.
Somebody messaged me to say that they'd taken out Salah for Hudson-Odoi on my say-so. And I remember
Salah
thinking,
for Hudson-Odoi. What a great move.
Oh my goodness. If that goes horribly wrong, I'm going to end up feeling awful. Actually, couldn't have gone much better, could it?
Very good, very good. Joe Finley Batter is in. How are we doing, Joe? Welcome, good evening. Brian Springer is here. How are we doing, Brian? Very nice to see you. Scott Schrager, Andrew Martin, Kim Nayes, and all sorts of you guys. So welcome.
Lots of nice banter with Joe on
this
Saturday.
evening's
Across
FPL
the stadium.
Family. Did you give me a little wave?
Yeah, he told me where he was. I was like, Mum, Joe's over there.
He's over there. I could tell you what, we'll come to that game.
Took some photos to see if he could see himself.
We'll come to that game in a minute because I happen to think that Watford were...
Turned a corner? Do you want to say that again?
I don't know about turned a corner, but they were far better than they have been. And Spurs, again, looked not great. But we'll come to that in a little while. There's our Twitter on the left-hand side, at FPL Family over there. If you're not following us, we would love you to go and follow us over on Twitter. We're also on Instagram, at FPL Family, and Facebook, and SoundCloud, and all these sorts of places. Are you? How many more do you need?
About 90.
90? That's doable. We've got 459 in, guys. If all of you guys that are not following FPL Family over on Instagram went over to instagram.com/FPL Family, links in the description below, go follow Sam on Instagram at FPL Family. And then, of course, come straight back. Of course,
do it on your phone while you're watching us on your...
They might be watching on their phones.
Do it on your iPad while you're watching on your phones.
All watchers have just gone down 20. There we go.
They've all gone off to subscribe. They'll be back.
Hopefully.
Either that or they've gone, God, I don't want any more of her. Off we go.
Dave Pimpernel, good evening. He says, careful with that mug, Sam. It might fall to pieces. Well, I think that's probably where we should start.
If the mug falls to pieces, then that is genuinely the end of the road.
I think we should probably start there.
It's the only thing about Spurs that's not in pieces right now.
Well, I think we should start, but given that you went to the game, given that if I start talking about Liverpool, Man United, I'm already quite riled up because I've been saying hello to people. If I get stuck into that game, I'm going to be even worse. So I'm going to calm myself down, and you're going to give us your view from the stands for Spurs 1, Watford 1. What was your view? How did the game go?
It was pretty terrible.
It wasn't great from a Spurs perspective, I'll give you that.
I don't think it was great from a Watford perspective either. I thought Watford were average, but better than us.
Right, okay.
I don't know. In all honesty, I don't know what to say about Spurs at the moment. And
give us your view on the alley goal, because it was sort of given, then not given, and then someone pressed the wrong button in the VAR box because didn't the big screen say no goal?
Joe will tell you it was the most ridiculous thing. In all my life of going to football, and I go a lot, I've never known anything quite as farcical as that was.
It was crazy, wasn't it?
It was like the goal went in for about 5 seconds. We celebrated.
Yeah.
And then we turned back to look at the pitch, and it was like all the players were standing around. It's like, oh God, they're not even moving for the halfway line. It's going to get VAR'd. And then you stand there, and then the ref give it, and then so it was like 2 seconds. Yeah. And then the screen says no goal, and everyone's like,
yeah.
Well, is it a goal? Is it not a goal? It was a joke, to be honest. It was a total joke. In terms of FPL assets, I mean, if you've got Yanmat, you're laughing.
Yeah, good game.
But, well...
One of our friends is actually the producer of the FPL show, Sean, if you're listening, if you're watching, hello. Sean was very close to bringing in Yanmat this game week on Thursday. He said, "What do you think about Yanmat? Gets forward quite a lot." I was like, "Are you sure?"
Laughed at him.
Watford defence away at Spurs. Are you sure? And actually, Yanmat ended up with an assist and 3 bonus points. So he actually did very, very well. And he got
one off before the clean sheet went.
No, did he?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. He got hauled off before the goal.
He went off before they conceded.
So he got 12. 12-pointer.
Yeah.
Oof. Yikes. Okay. Sorry, Sean.
So from a both sides point of view, there wasn't anyone from Watford that massively stood out for me either. I think Pereira was the one that, of all of them, I thought had the best game.
Give me a view on Dele Alli, and I'm not just picking him out because he scored the goal, and a well-taken goal it was too. I think I would question Foster's handling. I think Foster should probably field that quite easily, but nevertheless he's fumbled it, and Ali has finished it actually quite nicely.
Yeah.
Give me a view on how Ali affects that team, because one of the things I noticed on Match of the Day, and I think they pointed it out in the post-match comments, was that actually Ali was finding those spaces in between the lines, in between defence and midfield, and that meant that Kane wasn't coming back into those positions, and it felt like Kane was staying a bit more in that advanced position. Was that the dynamic you were seeing?
So for 70% of the game, the first 75 minutes, 80 minutes, not quite 80 minutes, 75 minutes, that is exactly how it was. Kane was in better positions. He wasn't getting the service necessarily, but he was in better positions and he had some chances. And I was hopeful that when Sonny came on at half time that we would get some returns from the game. I thought Dele played okay. I think it was the first time in a long time I've watched Dele Alli and thought there's something back with you. It's just confidence building now. You just need some regular starts and then there's potential there.
He's 8.4 in FPL, so you don't want to go near him just now, right? But just keep your eye on him. I think he could be all right over the next few weeks.
The issue that we had was that we were so slow. Everything was slow. It was sideways pass. There was no penetration. There was no attack. There was no grit about them. There was a real nervousness about them, and that manifested itself into a real nervousness amongst the Spurs fans. The Watford fans were incredible. They made so much noise that game, and I don't remember ever being in a Spurs stadium where I could understand from the other side exactly what the away fans were saying. And that has a knock-on effect on the players on the pitch. Now, the big change... Son came on and did well, but the big change...
Son rested was maybe foreseeable because of the travelling he was having to do. Yes. But when he came on, he made a massive difference. Hit the bar, right?
He did, but the bigger difference still was when Lamela came on. Lamela fundamentally changed the game. We went from being really slow, lack of movement, to suddenly he was everywhere, Lamela, and he had a real grit and a determination about him. He was winning corners, he was all over the place. And that was furthered when Ndombele came on. And for those last 8 minutes or so of the game, it was real kind of, after Dele scored, it was all Watford really backs to the wall on it. Yeah. And they did really well, to be fair. They held on well.
So give me your view from an FPL perspective then. So from a fixtures perspective, obviously it's Liverpool away next and then Everton away. So back-to-back trips to Merseyside, and an Everton team that may have turned the corner. We'll discuss those guys in a while.
Yeah.
Sheffield United at home, West Ham away, Bournemouth at home. So the fixtures are still not bad for Spurs, particularly a couple of reasonable looking home games, but 3 of the next 5 are away from home and they look like tricky away games, especially that West Ham London derby. That's a very unpredictable game traditionally, isn't it, and historically?
Yes, yeah, it is, yeah.
Who from an FPL perspective would you be having from your team, from Spurs, would you have in your FPL team right now? If anyone, I don't know if they're maybe a little bit overpriced right now.
It's really hard.
Because Son is 9 point something, right? Should people be selling Son?
Son makes a massive... At the moment, the only one that I would feel like I really want, the only one I feel that's got the kind of the passion and the drive is Lamela. But I don't trust the minutes because there's so many players in midfield. Lo Celso's put up a couple of posts saying basically that he's ready. Eriksen only had a dead leg. I would expect to have him back for next week. I mean, whether we want him back or not, that's another matter entirely. But there's so many players in that mid that there's going to be rotation. Lamela, I thought, put real claim out that said I should be playing.
So Dan is in. FPL chance of Dan. I'd have no Spurs right now. That's coming from a Spurs fan. He'd have no Spurs. And Tyron Flores is saying he's selling Son for KDB because he feels like KDB is a must.
Yes,
so
I would agree.
Do you think that's a move worth doing?
Yeah, 100% I would do that. I think it's really tough because, I keep looking at... I kept Kane this week on the basis that it was Watford at home, and if he was ever going to score...
You're keeping him now?
Well...
What's your Kane strategy? What are you thinking?
To just maybe sit in the corner, cry and rock for a little while, and then I don't know. It depends what happens, doesn't it, with my other problems. I've got Otamendi related issues. At least with Kane, I know he's going to play.
Yeah.
Whereas with Otamendi, if he's not going to play, that's a bigger issue that I've got to deal with first. So Kane might get a save execution on that. But I've also got Salah. We're going to need to find out what's going on with him because if he's not going to play again, that's another problem I've got to deal with. I don't really want to own Kane at the moment because I don't feel like we are going to score enough goals to make it worthwhile. And
the thing with selling him, though, sorry to cut across you, the thing with selling him, though, is would you straight swap him for another big hitting premium? I mean, Aguero now, there's some uncertainty over his game time, maybe, although he's been pretty consistent up to now. And then you've got Aubameyang, who we're yet to see this game week, but could be shoved out left, and we know that his offensive statistics drop when Lacazette plays.
Yeah.
And you know what Emery's like. Emery is going to try and get those two alongside Pepe in that front three working, isn't he?
Yeah.
So for me, I don't know if I'd really be fully backing any of those three, given their price tag. If they were at sort of 8-9, then yeah, fair enough. But they're in the 11s and 12s. I'm not sure I'd be backing them. If anything, I would be thinking about a Kane move down to Vardy if I haven't got Vardy. But then you have him. So that's why I'm kind of interested to find out what your Kane exit strategy, if indeed Kane is to exit your team. I
was speaking to Josh about this yesterday, and I think I was watching today's game with a Firmino head on, because I was thinking, that's a nice, slightly cheaper asset. It would give me double Liverpool attack, which feels quite nice going into the nice run of fixtures that you have coming up. I'm holding my wild card for that break that you've got, so that's a potential. But then I also look at people like, all right, blanked this weekend, but there's Callum Wilson, nice fixtures Bournemouth have got. Maybe I should be thinking about that. There's a few in that lower price bracket who I think could be quite nice assets, but nobody that I want to straight swap to, no.
Do you look at Raul Jimenez?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, could be a nice move, couldn't it? Could be a nice move. Lots to discuss on Spurs. If you want to continue that conversation, head over to Instagram at FPL Family to go and catch Sam over on Instagram. Lots to discuss from that Spurs game. Let's have a quick word then. Since we mentioned Raul Jimenez, let's have a quick word on Wolves 1, Southampton 1. Rambo from FPL FYI will be delighted with the 4 back-to-back FPL returns now for Danny Ings.
How is he doing this? I don't
know. We're all caning him every week for keeping Danny Ings in his team, but that is now 4 goals in 4 for Danny Ings. Absolutely sensational form. And Jimenez with a goal to back up his 2 assists from last game week.
Should have had a hat-trick though.
Should have had more Jimenez. I mean, he's just finding his touch now, and without that VAR, would have had far more of a haul this game week. So, very, very briefly, I don't want to spend too much time on this game, but Jimenez on your radar now as a potential Kane replacement, or just full stop on your radar? 7.1 in the game.
I'm just going to go Wolves on my radar.
Wolves generally on the radar, yeah. Let's have a look at their fixtures then. Let's try and bring those up.
Fixtures are really nice.
Newcastle away next, Arsenal away, which is a game that we know Wolves like to get in behind, right? So that's a game they could score in. Villa at home, Bournemouth away, Sheffield United at home.
They play...
Represents nice fixtures.
Yeah, I mean, they play Man City in game week 12, but other than that, really nice fixtures. And I'm looking at that Wolves team thinking, we know the likes of Jimenez have got real pedigree from last season. We know that they can do it in the Premier League. I feel, and I said this on the FPL show last week, I feel like with Wolves, they've got over that jet lag from the Europa League that comes with it when you begin it.
They're up to season fitness now, right? In the first 2 games, that European... Trying to do 2 games in a week when your squad is still getting fully up to speed is very hard, but it feels like they've hit the ground running now.
And when your squad's quite thin as well, and the likes of Doherty, injured in pre-season, just in a stupid niggly thing, and he came out and said, in a couple of weeks I'll be back to full fitness. And I'm looking at that squad thinking, once you've got the likes of Doherty back properly, Bolly's playing really well this season.
Bolly, I thought in particular, his distribution in that game was fantastic. You said on the FPL show that Doherty, we like him, right? But he's
a bit more. He's a million more.
He's a million more. Possibly got a bit of a threat with Adama Traore doing quite well in that position in recent weeks. So for $1 million less, go for Bolly. The distribution looks good, and he's $5 million.
Yeah,
ahead of some really nice fixtures. So I think that's a nice pick. Let's see what you guys are saying. Josh is saying Pukki to Jimenez.
Yes,
yeah, that is a move that you should absolutely look at. I think another hoops. Wolves love scoring against the big boys. Jimenez is my transfer in this week. Yes, very difficult to disagree with that. Yeah, Wolves do love a big game, no doubt about it.
I would like him in.
Let's see. Wolves far better, could not break him down. Mark Dorney saying, yeah, absolutely. Traore views. Ariaman is saying, still, jury's out a little bit for me on Traore. He's one of those players, and I know he's a cheapie. He's 5.0. So if you're looking for somebody in that price bracket, I think he's not a bad option.
Yeah.
But he's had 1 good game. He had a couple of game weeks ago, wasn't it? Or
Man City.
Yeah, the Man City game was very, very good. 2 goals, of course, and was very, very good. But that's the only game I've ever really watched him and thought, yeah, you're an FPL asset. At 5.0, is a punt worth taking, maybe, ahead of a nice run of fixtures. But I still think Jimenez is going to be worth that extra 2 over him, or Jota. Have a look at Jota over the next couple of weeks. They've got these difficult-ish games coming up in the next couple of game weeks. Maybe from game week 11 or 12. You guys can look at the fixture tickers.
I think ahead of Newcastle at home and then Arsenal, there's points in that.
I think it's Newcastle away, Arsenal away.
Well,
2 away games.
I think there's points in those games.
Okay, interesting, yeah. If you want to take a punt and get on them early, that could be the differential you need before everybody piles in 3 game weeks' time. You could be right.
I think that's where I'm going to go.
Very good. All right, let's talk about the Pep roulette a little bit then in Man City. Mahrez rested, Aguero rested, and actually amidst all of that nonsense, Jesus popped up with a nice goal, and actually David Silva, an oft overlooked FPL asset this season, but that is now 4 double-digit hauls for David Silva this season, crazy, and that is the most of any player in FPL right now. So are we massively overlooking David Silva? All right, he might get rotated out every now and again, but when he does play, he tends to get double-digit hauls.
And I think we probably are. It's hard, isn't it, with him, because there's that element of 7.5, I think, isn't he? 7.5-ish?
He might even be less than that, 7.
Something around that area.
4, yeah, he's somewhere around there, isn't he?
And I think because of that, there is that element of I don't really, if I'm going in that price bracket, I don't want any rotation risks. I just want them to be playing every week.
Yeah.
But then, does it matter? As long as you can have a third Man City asset. I think he could be quite useful because all right, he might not necessarily play every week or get a full game every week.
It doesn't feel like anybody in City is rotation proof.
Apart
right,
from
we always look at those players and we say, well, who's not going to get rotated? And there's probably some that are going to get rotated more than others.
Yeah.
But right now, would you spend 12 million on Sterling or 7 point whatever on David Silva? That is at the moment, that's tricky. Despite Sterling being top actually for XG underachievers this game week, so you could say if you like XG, I know you don't. If you do like XG, you could say that he should have got some points this game week. He should have got some. So on the basis of that, I don't think I'm transferring him out right now. But it's getting harder and harder to justify 12 point something million for Sterling right now.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't want another issue of... I feel like I've got that issue with Kane just sitting around not getting anything.
So you haven't got Sterling right now ahead of Man City's next 2 fixtures, which are Villa at home, Southampton at home. Are you worried not having Sterling, or are you kind of just happy to have KDB and you're probably going to captain him, I guess?
KDB.
I think you're probably right.
I would like to have more than just KDB, and so that worries me slightly with the Otamendi thing, because I was quite happy going into those games with just KDB and Otamendi. But I'm now looking at it thinking, there's a good chance I'm going into those with just KDB, and that does worry me a little bit. It means that I need KDB to perform really well as a captain for the next 2 weeks in order for it to be okay, probably. Okay. But... So
Mark Dorney's commented, KDB and Sterling passed the eye test yesterday. They did, Mark, from my perspective. I watched the game. I'm not sure their kit, the Man City kit, passed the eye test. I wanted to eat rhubarb and custard, or those little fruit salad sweets that you used to have as a kid? Like that, didn't it? It's ridiculous. Like a chewed up one.
Who's designed that?
I don't know.
It's worse than my kit designs on FPL.
Wow. That's a statement.
But it is.
It's a statement. It was a very interesting kit, but nevertheless,
yellow and pink.
They did catch the eye. I do agree with Mark. Sterling, XG underachievement, yes, but also the eye test. I think he did play all right. I thought that actually because when Mendy played the full 90 minutes, which from his perspective is good to see, given his injury. His unfortunate injury issues over the last year or so. It's good to see him get a full game under his belt. Now with Mendy playing, he gives you that natural width on the left. So Sterling doesn't have to give them that natural width on the left. So therefore he spends more time drifting into central goal-scoring areas rather than drifting out wide, which is what was happening as a Sterling owner, watching him closely between game weeks sort of 5, 6, 7, a few game weeks back. He had chalk on his boots the whole time. He was so wide. He wasn't in those sorts of positions that I want him to be in as an FPL owner. But now with Mendy playing, hopefully, if Mendy starts getting that consistent run in the team and doesn't do any more injuries, which is a big if from a Mendy perspective, he's going to provide that width. It's going to mean Sterling can cut a bit more inside and get into those positions that we want. So ahead of those really nice 2 fixtures, Villa and Southampton at home, I just don't feel like I can sell Raheem Sterling. I just think I'm making a rod for my own back there. But I will totally agree with you. Who am I considering captaining going into game week 10 and that Villa home game? Because that's probably where my captain's going to come from. Is Kevin De Bruyne. 100% Kevin De Bruyne. Because we said at the top of the show, could have easily had 20 points this game week. Header off the post, an assist for the penalty. If Jesus squares it to him, he taps it in, etc., etc. Could easily have had 20 points, KDB. So I think I'll be keeping both of them. Palace, we've been talking about how they don't score many goals but also don't concede many. Well, it was a 1-2 punch, wasn't it, from Man City? It was 2 goals in the space of 2 or 3 minutes, and Palace just never really recovered.
No.
They had a couple of chances towards the end, but it was City just kind of got in there, wham bam, and got out there, professional display. Anybody from a Palace perspective you are considering, given that their fixtures look like this, Sam? Arsenal away, Leicester at home, Chelsea away, Liverpool at home, Burnley away for the next 5. They are bottom of every single season ticker you find online. They are bottom right now. Don't think I'd be considering them. No, don't think so. But nevertheless, still good value for when the fixtures do pick up.
Well,
right?
I mean, this is the thing, right? If you have a bad run of fixtures like that, it does mean in the longer term there will be a nice run of fixtures coming, and at that point, anyone that's kind of picked up some form or shown some form over these bad ones, it will be a good option.
I agree. And as Himanshu is saying, KDB's averaging 14 points at home right now. Is he really? Goodness me. So he's averaging 14 points at home. So yes, he's absolutely one to have a look at against Villa at home. Let's address this game. We've just watched it a couple of hours ago. Manchester United versus Liverpool.
Just going to move over this one.
Yeah, that's right. Because I definitely want your opinion as a neutral.
I'm scared to give you my opinion.
No, I definitely want it because I'm not going to try and get too emotional in this game, but that's one of the worst performances Liverpool have had in a long time. We just looked. I think we were expecting Manchester United to play quite a low block actually, and not to commit too much forward, particularly at fullback. I think we were looking at actually on those flanks for James and I think it was on the other side, but their wingers to sit back and help out Wan-Bissaka and Rojo or whoever it was on that side.
Yeah.
And it just never happened. It never happened. Wan-Bissaka, his default position was I'm gonna get forward, I'm gonna crack on. And actually Ashley Young on the other side, I'm gonna go forward and that. So I think we were expecting the low block to have lots of possession and to have to be patient and find our way through the game and not rush it in that first half. And actually Man United came out and were just like, no, bang, we're here to play. Totally took us by surprise.
Yeah.
And I think we didn't have anywhere near as much of the ball as we thought we were going to have, and therefore weren't as creative in possession. I thought Divock Origi, he's an average player that has a terrible game, 1 in every 6. He very rarely has a good game, 1 in 10 good game. But he'll have an average game, 1 in 6.
Name you one.
And then he didn't have a good game in the Champions League final.
Well,
he scored, but he didn't have a good game. He come on was absolute guff, but he scored the goal. So anyway, so he has 1 game in every 6 is awful, and today was awful. That because United on that side, in particular, you can see I'm getting on my high horse now. Because United on that side were bombing on and committing forward, they played perfectly. They were 2-on-1 against Robbo every single time because Divock Origi was sort of like floated into midfield or floated into the sort of central areas, and he wasn't coming wide and tracking back the fullback Wan-Bissaka. He was absolutely terrible and got hooked. Rightly so on the 59th minute. So there's one for FPL General and his 59th minute podcast. I'd have hooked him before that. He was absolutely awful. Before I get any more emotional about the game and how bad Liverpool were, credit where credit's due, United were good. It's the best United performance I've seen in a while, and I had all my United mates on WhatsApp coming out of the woodwork, who I've not spoken to in bloody years, by the way, saying, we're good, aren't we? 1-0, blah, 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 wasn't expecting this, etc., etc. So, and they were, to be fair to them. I thought they played well. So give me your view on the game from a neutral-ish perspective. I'm hoping it's neutral-ish. Give me your perspective on the game. What did you think of it? And I don't want any VAR discussion. And Nazim is saying, Sam, get Lee to bed. Yeah, I feel like I need to lie down, Nazim. I do feel like I need to lie down. MZ Ludo, Sam's enjoying this. Yeah.
I wasn't earlier, I'll tell you. I don't remember you ever getting this uptight about a game before, but you were really
we
stressed.
Were bad. I mean, it's the magnitude of the game. I do not like losing to Manchester United, as you guys can imagine. But there's this psychological thing about going to Manchester United that I think Klopp and Liverpool, some sort of block in their minds. We play badly there. We don't get results historically. Was the rhetoric before the game, and actually we weren't that good today either. From an FPL perspective, if you've got Salah, I don't think the injury is that bad, so I don't think you need to knee-jerk him out.
So do you think this was because, to me, I thought if Salah misses this game, then that probably means he also misses I didn't see him getting rested for this ahead of the Champions League. I don't think you'd be saving him. So maybe there is more to the injury than we thought. But you saying you don't think so?
I don't think so. Let's see what Klopp says in his pre-press conference for the Genk game. But the reality of Genk, touchwood, should be that's a bit of a gimme in the Champions League. It should be. I'll get shot for saying that on Liverpool Twitter. But they are the God. The whipping boys of our group. God, this is bad if we lose now. But we're at home to a team that are effectively the whipping boys in the Champions League.
I tell you, because if you lose
I'll be watching that in a bar in Dublin. But we absolutely should beat Genk, Salah or no Salah. So do I think that Klopp is going to rest Salah for that game? Yes, I do. I think he's going to be on... It'd be interesting to see whether he's on the bench or whether he rests him altogether. If he rests him altogether, then it's kind of like, well, there's still some uncertainty about whether he's ready for Spurs. But if he's on the bench, then clearly he can come on, he can play, and he'll be ready for Spurs. But my view is that I don't think the injury is that bad that it'll keep him out of the Spurs game. I think he will play against Spurs.
Fine, okay.
So you own Salah, keep in or sell in, or what are you thinking?
I'll probably keep him. I still like Salah. I still think that Salah offers... definitely not good value, but Salah offers something that over the course of the season I will want to have in my fantasy team.
Yeah.
There is always the move to Mane, but that gap in terms of price is becoming less. And what I'm now seeing as a Salah owner, or what I'm hoping that I'm going to start seeing as a Salah owner, is that he becomes a bit more of a differential when he does perform, because actually so many people are making that move now to save 0.8 or 0.7, whatever the gap is now between them. That I wouldn't say
it's necessarily a money-making exercise. I would say that Mane has looked, on the whole, better than Salah from an FPL perspective in terms of how clinical he's been. He's finishing those chances. I don't want to go into a full Mane versus Salah debate because we've had that debate before, but I don't necessarily think the people that are ditching Salah for Mane are doing it for money reasons necessarily. They might not be. It might not be now. I mean, it's 0.6 between them
that's
now,
what I mean.
so
there's very little
pretty
now.
Close, yeah.
But I think for me, at the moment, I'm still in the Salah camp. Now, obviously, if the injury turns out to be more than originally kind of thought, then the move to Mane is the obvious choice.
Sure.
I won't get off of a Liverpool midfielder, but for now, I'm
fancy
going to hold
Lallana, 0.1% TSB?
No, I don't fancy Lallana. He'll be sitting on the bench warming that, won't he, for most of the season?
He's a useless player, but I love him for today.
I don't fancy Lallana. I think in terms of my views on the game today, I expected less from Manchester United than we got.
Yeah, that's probably a fair statement. I'm sure the Man United fans would agree with you. Actually, a lot of them on Twitter saying,
"Yeah, I don't think they expected
looking forward to getting spanked, or we need to keep this, we need to keep this respectable." But actually, they more than did that.
They turned up, they played a good game, and they deserve to get something out of the game. I think is the long and short of it. I'm still not convinced that there's anyone from a fantasy point of view that I want from a Manchester United perspective just yet.
The return of Martial, the guys are saying on the live chat, on the bench, came on today. So
maybe.
I think we've seen historically with Martial that you just... And I know what you guys are going to say. FPL, obviously the art of FPL is getting on players before they start on a run. But with Martial coming back from injury,
I just don't have
given his injury record, you just want him to get at least 90 minutes under his belt and do something. And then maybe have a look. I don't know. I'd be a bit reluctant to go straight in there.
I just don't have a great feeling. I don't have a great gut feeling about getting Martial, and as a result of that, I don't think there's anyone I particularly want.
The Man United fixtures, by the way, do look really, really nice. So if you are considering either a Man United defender or an attacker, have a look at this: Norwich, Bournemouth, Brighton, Sheffield United, and Aston Villa.
Where's Norwich? Is it home or away?
It's Norwich away, Bournemouth away, Brighton at home, Sheffield United away, and then Villa at home. The complete opposite to Crystal Palace. Man United right now are top of the ticker for the next 5. The fixtures do actually look pretty damn good.
But the thing is, with those points, like Manchester United versus Norwich, it's a home game for Norwich. You would expect they would score. And then Bournemouth, well, there should be goals in that game for Bournemouth. So I don't necessarily see clean sheets in the next 2 for Manchester United. I can see them, if they play like they played against Liverpool today, I can see them getting some Premier League returns.
Yes.
But I don't necessarily know that I would know which one of them I would want as a fantasy point of view, because I don't see there's a consistency yet of those players. And I don't feel like I want to, when I could have, I know Tammy didn't perform this week, but Tammy, Vardy, those players, I don't see that I want to take them up with Rashford.
The Liverpool fullback situation, I don't think we're panicking as Trent owners, but if you've got both Trent and Robbo, I think that's a really nice position to be in right now. Robbo with the assist and 3 bonus points today.
Yes.
So again, he's going to rack up a nice, 6 or 7 points for you. Ahead of the fixtures that Liverpool have got to come, maybe let's say after the Spurs game then, just for the sake of saving another death stare. But after the Spurs game in game week 11, the Liverpool fixtures do look really nice. One of the poll questions is, would you double up in defence or double up in attack? I think the value, for me, in Trent and Robbo versus Mane and Salah's going to cost you an absolute fortune nowadays. But Robbo and Trent, I think there's value there in those two, don't you?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Absolutely looking at Robbo in, guys, over the next couple of game weeks. I'm absolutely looking at that.
But we shouldn't rule out Firmino in all of this.
No, we shouldn't rule out Firmino. But right now, where is he on your radar then? Out of those 5, Trent, Robbo, Mane, Salah, Firmino, out of those 5, where is he in terms of your FPL thinking? At top of the list, bottom of the list?
Pretty much.
Pretty much at the top?
Well, he and Robbo pretty much share the top spots.
Okay, interesting. All right, well, let's move on. Another team that should absolutely be top of your FPL watch lists is Chelsea. Again, another good performance. And, okay, didn't rack up a bunch of goals, as we have seen them do lately. But 1-0, a good win. They march on, Chelsea. And as we said at the top of the show, Frank Lampard is proving himself to be not just a good man motivator, but an excellent tactician. I think Jody Morris, personally, has a lot to do with the tactician. I think Jody Morris is an excellent right-hand man for Frank. But nevertheless, the two of them working together are getting some sensational performances out of their youngsters. Talk me through Callum Hudson-Odoi's performance, because right now, if I was on a wild card right now, I think I'd have Cho over Mount.
Yay!
I think I would. And that's not to say that Mount
what
is...
happened since Thursday?
I know. How fickle we are. This is FPL this season, right? I spent the whole of last week saying that Cho hasn't scored a Premier League goal, which he still hasn't. But I tell you what, 18. I didn't realise he was quite so young. 18 years old.
What a little sweetheart.
All the Chelsea fans, Tips and everybody else, FPL rotation, all the Chelsea fans on Twitter love this guy. They love this guy. And I have a couple of Chelsea fans at my work as well. They cannot say enough about how talented this kid is. You've obviously picked up on it. You bought him in last game week. He's got you the, 8 or 9 points? 9 lovely FPL points. He looks the real deal, doesn't he, Cho?
I'm so happy. I can't tell you how happy I am about that one. When that goal went in, I can't tell you how happy I was.
What a differential for you this game week.
God.
What a differential.
I just see something in him, and I really think he's talented. And I had a lot of people kind of messaging me during the week to go, I don't get it. How do you know he's even going to play? And I just was like, Frank he's the sort of manager that is all about confidence, and if you're playing well, he'll play you. There isn't this idea of, well, this one's better, or this one's cost 50 million, or this one's got this. No. If you're doing well, we've seen it with Mount, right? You're doing well, you play.
Yeah.
Tammy, you're doing well, you play over Giroud. With Hudson-Odoi, he's come back. He's had a League Cup appearance where he was excellent. He had a Champions League performance where he was excellent. A couple of Premier League, early games, coming on for a few minutes here and there where he was excellent. And then 2 lots of 90 minutes, which he's returned in both of them. Still
pretty cheap as chips in FPL as well, right?
Had a price rise, so he's at 6 now.
Oh, okay. Shouldn't be shocked by that, I guess.
But in terms of... where we are in the game, 6 million is still very, very cheap for a top 4, top 6 club midfielder.
I see them being top 4 this season, honestly do. The way that they are playing, guys, honestly. And I saw a comment in the live chat a second ago about Pulisic potentially cutting into Mount's minutes. Now, that is something, if you're a Mount owner, you should definitely keep an eye on. I don't think that's going to happen necessarily straight away. I think Mount has definitely showed us enough this season.
I would agree.
That he's going to keep his place. And what you've just said before about Frank going with the players he knows, the ones that are confident, well, Mount is super confident right now. Despite being hauled off on 64 minutes, I think that was more of a tactical thing because Newcastle were defending so well at the weekend.
It was just a change-up. Newcastle did what they did against us.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily think that,
Pulisic
now takes Mount's place.
No,
right?
I wouldn't either.
And I think for you guys that are saying, look at, is Cho going to get a start? Is Callum Hudson-Odoi definitely going to be a starter? Again, go back to what you said. I think it's right. Lampard, if he sees something in a youngster, age is nothing but a number for him right now. If he sees that he's playing well, then I think he goes with him. And I think I can see Hudson-Odoi starting next game week without any issue.
And it's you can see it before games, you can see it after games. It is a happy place. I've not seen Chelsea a happy place in a long time.
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
is happy under Frank Lampard.
Do you notice he's given it all the hugs after the games? Yeah. The players are all smiling when they've won. Now listen, it's a young team. They're not going to go the whole season being incredible. They'll have a sticky patch, and that will be for me the acid test for Frank Lampard's Chelsea, how they come out of that difficult period. I was going to say if they have it, when they have it. I think it's inevitable. they have it at some stage.
Yeah, they will.
And how they come out of it will tell us a lot about their character. But right now, they are going great guns. So from an FPL perspective, don't worry about that maybe iffy patch that comes maybe around Christmas when there's a lot of games, or maybe towards the end of the season when some of the young players might not have it quite in their legs. Right now, take advantage of it.
But I also think that, and I said this to a couple of people when they DM'd me about Callum Hudson-Odoi, I do believe that even if Callum Hudson-Odoi is benched for a game, he'll come on.
And can still do well.
And he'll still get returns because that's the sort of player he is. We've seen that in the first couple of games that he came on for. So I am all aboard the Hudson-Odoi train, and I am very, very happy to be on there.
Yeah, very good. And I think despite the blank, a lot of people were going for Tammy Abraham captain this game week. I certainly did go down that route.
I would have if I wasn't Kane.
And do you know what? I think he still impressed me, right? He hit the bar. He had 3 decent chances. He was... I wouldn't say unlucky. Yeah, he potentially was a bit unlucky. I don't know if I can see him in the XG underachievers. Yes, I can. So he's 4th for XG underachievers. So actually, again, he's getting in all those right positions, and that's going to be very difficult if you've got Tammy Abraham and you even captained him this game week to have back-to-back blanks now for Tammy Abraham. If you just look at the FPL points, you might be thinking, "Oh, do I want to go somewhere else?" I think you have to stick with this guy. His underlying stats are there, right?
He looked really good.
He did. And he's playing in a team full of confidence where players like Callum Hudson-Odoi and Pulisic and Mount are going to give him the ammunition he needs.
And listen to what the Chelsea fans say, because often it's, what the fans say gives you a real insight into these players. And you listen to what they're saying. They're talking about him as the next Drogba. Everything is positive about Tammy Abraham. You don't get that.
Drogba.
You don't get this. You don't get this positivity about Batshuayi or Giroud from the Chelsea fans. So he is going to play.
Okay.
And he will get returns for you.
Okay. Nice comment from Jack Jones. Thank you, Jack, for the comment. He's saying not an FPL asset, but how good is Jorginho right now? Yes, we're not going to talk too much about him because this is an FPL live stream. If this was a Chelsea live stream, I'd be going in on Jorginho right now. What an unbelievable... he is settled. Whatever was wrong with him when he was first starting out at Chelsea, I don't know, but he's properly settled now. He's happy.
Yeah.
Feels like the sort of player who likes a happy camp. Under Sarri...
Happy Jorginho.
Yeah, but under Sarri, never really felt like a happy camp. It just felt like a sort of sometimes effective, and we're a football team, and we just got to go out there and win this game. Whereas Frank he's building a club. He wants the players to be part of it. He's giving all hugs and stuff. He's putting his arm around them. He's more of a man manager, far more of an emotionally intelligent manager than Sarri was. Far more. Frank Lampard is far more in tune with the younger players and what they need and what they want as young players. And I think Jorginho is really benefiting from that general atmosphere around Stamford Bridge right now. So nice comment there, Jack.
He's pivotal to how the FPL assets play, because if he's playing well, the whole team plays better around him.
Absolutely. He's saying on the pitch you can see Jorginho is a leader, tells players what to do, where to go. Yes,
I agree.
Absolutely agree. Any more? We need to have a quick chat about Leicester, and it does need to be a quick one because we're rapidly running towards the hour mark. Vardy and Tielemans with the goals for Leicester. It is 1-0 to Team Sam versus Team Lee in the clash of the Foxes. Maddison with nothing this game week.
I'll take 2 with the clash of the Chelseas as well, thanks.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. Yeah, I'll give you that, absolutely. But it was it was a typical sort of Leicester performance for this game week, actually, for this season, because Leicester have tended to get 2 or 3 and concede 1. Right? I know we're all on Soyuncu and Pereira and Chilwell as our Leicester defenders, but it niggles me that Leicester concede like a goal every week. They do seem to give up 1 goal every week somehow, somewhere.
Okay.
But at 4.5 with Soyuncu, I'm kind of okay with that I might get a clean sheet.
Oh, well, I'm on him purely for that fact that everyone is on a Leicester defender. So I've gone with the cheapest one in order to counteract the clean sheet if it ever arrives. More than because I expect a clean sheet, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. FPL Chancellor Danny's saying Tielemans' finish was flames. It absolutely was. And Tielemans, to be honest, it's the first time really this season I've thought he's an FPL asset. Yeah, because he's sort of started the season okay, and then in the last few game weeks he's been very Modric-y, for want of a better phrase. He's been kind of a very, very good player to watch, but not really very an FPL sort of asset. And then all of a sudden he pulls out a worldie and people are thinking about him. Now, if we go back to the end of last season, he was a fantastic FPL asset. So let's not forget that. I still, for me, think that there's better FPL assets in that Leicester attack, not least Mr. Vardy, whose party we should all be going to now, I think. Would you call, as some of the guys are saying in the live chat, Vardy essential right now? Is he essential?
No, I wouldn't say he's essential. I'd just say I like having him.
He's a very good asset to have right now. Yes, very good.
And I feel like with the fixtures, he's a nice asset. And it goes back to what I said before, because I really did toy with the idea of Maddison, but I just would never trust Maddison with the armband. But you can easily put them at Vardy. Easy for me to say. You can easily put the captain's armband on Vardy and feel confident that there's going to be some attacking returns there.
Okay, and Wood again gets another goal for Burnley. Maybe could have had 2, but it was again ruled out for offside. So I think if you want in on the Burnley attack, it is clear now where you go, and it's not Ashley Barnes.
No, bless him, no longer sexy.
It's not Ashley Barnes.
Shout out for the other Barnes though, because Harvey did get a couple of assists.
He did do very well.
So, you know, we if you want a cheap Leicester midfielding option, maybe he's the one.
All right, very good. Well, listen, no time to talk about McGinn's blank again for Villa, but how good was Grealish?
Could have, though. VAR took some points off him as well this week.
Absolutely. So could have had an assist, I think, in the first half, but Grealish is the one to point out in that game. Now, he was in a far freer role, far more advanced, and maybe actually McGinn was maybe dropping back a little bit because of Grealish's more freer role, was my view. So one to look out for there, Grealish. I thought he had a fantastic game. From a Brighton perspective, Webster, I think he's 4.4 defender. He's gone massively under the radar, in my opinion. I mean, Montoya as well in that game did get forward very, very well indeed. But Webster, have a look out for him. 4.4, good value in that Brighton side if you want in on the Brighton defence. It felt like every set piece was heading towards his head, right? Yeah. So a quick word about that. And then Everton 2, West Ham 0. A pretty inept performance by the Hammers. They're very hit and miss.
I didn't see this coming.
Very hit and miss West Ham this season.
Yarmolenko bench, that's annoying if you've owned him.
Yeah, but again, he had a bit of a, he was, again, travelling a lot and playing for the Ukraine and stuff. So you can see maybe why Pellegrini wanted to rest him. Everton, for their part, looked a totally different side. And I wondered when he took Sigurdsson out of that starting lineup, whether he'd seen something in Sigurdsson's play that actually was slowing up that Everton attack. I mean, he's in such an important position in terms of that number 10 position. Maybe he is just not quite as dynamic as Iwobi is in that position.
Nobody's ever called Iwobi dynamic.
Listen, Iwobi in that position was very, very good indeed, I thought, playing in and around Richarlison. And the two wide men, Walcott in particular, had a very good game. Best game I've seen him have.
To be fair, I didn't see this game because I was at White Hart Lane.
Yeah, indeed. So I think more to say about West Ham being rubbish, as you guys were saying. Maffeo Sol, West Ham was stagnant. Dan, FPL chance of West Ham were garbage.
Oh, let's hope they do this when we go there.
Soham is saying, what do we do with Yarmolenko? Yeah, there's lots of questions to be asked of West Ham there. But right now, I don't think that I'd be touching any of their assets. Let's have a look at their fixtures. West Ham, 2 nice home games actually coming up. Sheffield United, then Newcastle at home before they go away to Burnley. Then it's that game against Spurs that we mentioned before. Then it's another London derby away at Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. So maybe in the short term for the next 2, you'd maybe keep Yarmolenko for those 2. Or if you've got Lanzini or Ala, keep them. I think you probably keep them for those 2. But maybe if you don't see much in the next 3 from the Hammers, consider an exit plan from about game week 11-12 onwards.
Yeah.
There we go. Let's have a look at... Where do we go? Let's have a look in here. A quick shout out for our patrons. Let's have a look how the manager of the month for October is going. Now, again,
you can't read that.
I always do this. I make it really, really small on my screen. I'm hoping, guys, that this is translating well onto YouTube. But let's have a look at how you guys are getting on. And it was, as I thought it was when I looked at it on livefpl.net. Kieran Screeton is doing very, very well indeed.
Back up there again, Kieran.
Very, very well. He is a regular. Must be having a good season, I think.
He was very unlucky not to win September.
Yes, he was. He was 2nd or 3rd, wasn't he, in the overall standings?
Very unlucky. Was winning it till the final game.
And then Jay Ryan pipped him right at the post. But Kieran is in pole position right now with only 1 game week left to go. Game week 10 will be the last game week for October.
Oh, yes, of course.
We've only got 3. So we've got 1 more game week to go before we then open up November's Manager of the Month. So if you want to take part in November's Manager of the Month, which will start in game week 11, then head over to patreon.com/FPL Family. We'd love for you to go and support us over there. We've got loads of cool prizes, which we'll talk about in a second. But Kieran smashing it by about 20 points in October's Manager of the Month. So doing very, very well indeed. Jeff Willis from the Captain's Pod is in 2nd. So
Jeff!
Good month so far for Jeff. Spencer Lee is in 3rd. We've got, Paul Dunleavy in 4th. And then another Hoops and a couple of the other guys, Anthony in there as well.
A lot of the original
bringing up
patrons
the rear.
in there.
But yeah, that's actually some patrons that have been around for a long time. A lot of the old school patrons doing well in the October Manager of the Month. But Kieran is going to take some beating this month, I think. I think only really...
we should have checked, or you can tell from that, can't you? How many have they got left to go? Anyone in the Arsenal game to come?
I don't know.
You can't read
No, I'm not.
It would tell you how many they've had play so far, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but Jeff and Spencer look like the ones most likely to catch Kieran, if anybody can indeed catch Kieran. I'm not sure they can. He's looking he's in real good shape there, Kieran. So good luck for game week 10, and we will obviously announce this time next week who the winner is of the October Manager of the Month. And the winner will get, and you guys that are following us on Twitter and Instagram at FPL Family will have seen some of these images already of us doing like ridiculous poses with these pieces of, I can only call them pieces of art, right, from kickingtheballs.com.
I literally can't wait to move house and put these on the wall.
These are really, really good. Honestly, guys, the pictures don't do these justice. They're absolutely awesome. Head over to kickingtheballs.com. There's 2 S's on balls. The links, as everything on FPL Family, are in the description below. Go check them out. And right now, if you head over there, you can get 10% off anything on the website if you use the code FPLFamily10, because we are in a joint sponsorship with those guys. So FPLFamily10 for 10% discount off anything on the Kicking the Balls website. And you can get all this sort of cool stuff in there. But of course, the winner of each Manager of the Month competition gets one of these as their prize. So Kieran,
choice. You don't have to have Spurs.
Doesn't have to be Liverpool champions 6 times. Doesn't have to be a Spurs streak sign.
Jay had Arsenal, right?
He had an Invincibles Arsenal one, which was very good indeed. So head over to kickingtheballs.com, have a look at their website, and if you want to get involved with our Patron and have a chance of winning one of these awesome framed pieces of art every single month in our Manager of the Month competition, then patreon.com/FPL Family, and you can get involved in there. Right, let's have a look at our team. Sam, your team did very, very well indeed. There's a screenshot here from Fantasy Football Fix. Let's have a look at your points. 40 points so far this game week, with Lundstrom to come, I believe.
Yeah, Salah not playing. Otamendi I'd benched anyway, didn't play. So second sub, Lundstrom, who I actually really wanted to play this week, so it's worked out okay in the end.
Okay.
We'll come on tomorrow night.
40 points feels very good this game week. There's a lot of 20s knocking about and some low 30s. 40 feels like a very good score, and an overall rank of 14k is absolutely fantastic at this time of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice green arrow again on the back of a bad green arrow last week.
What were you last game week? 19k?
19k.
Okay, very good.
We, back up by 5, 4, which feels nice. And hopefully if Lundstrom can do something tomorrow and, keep a clean sheet, and I'll have the wrong keeper playing, of course, if that happens. But yeah, it feels like it's been a nice game week. I'm pleased because obviously I took a -4, so to get a -4,
yes,
and to still have got a green arrow feels like a good one. My 2 transfers, well, not so much the one at the back, although Diop and Sionju just wiped each other's faces, but Cho for Lanzini, massive improvement. Pukki for Vardy, massive improvement. So the -4 was well worth it.
So Sunday night, initial thoughts on what your transfers might be for next game week? Have you had any yet, or are you just sort of letting that settle, seeing how Mr. Lundstrom gets on?
Oh well, I'm going to wait till Champions League and Europa League stuff is finalised, but my decision will probably be on what happens with Salah. If Salah's fit and okay, then he'll stay. If he's not, he'll go. If he's staying, then I might have to look at what I'm doing with Kane. I
think. Who am I to tell you how to run your fantasy team? But I think Kane needs looking at, doesn't he?
Yeah, but
you could have Kane to Connolly and have 6 million in the bank.
I could have Kane to Jimenez and have a lot of money in the
absolutely,
bank.
Yes, absolutely. Kane to Jimenez feels like a nice move.
Oh, I know it does.
It does feel like a nice move.
Kane.
And then you'd be Spursless in your team, which doesn't feel right, does it? But right now, there ain't a lot to shout about Spurs-wise.
Ouch.
I'm just
shots fired ahead of the FPL Family derby.
Just some facts.
Yeah, some facts that we'll discuss again next Sunday night when we've trounced you.
40 points, an overall rank of 14k is absolutely sensational, given the season we are having, guys. And I know a lot of you guys are finding it tough going this season, and it's so unpredictable. We're not getting any sort of consistency in terms of, the big hitters hitting, or, there's no template or anything. So to be 14k, overall, I know he does like to. Well, he likes to score when Lovren's playing, and Lovren doesn't get a look in.
Is Lovren going to play this weekend?
No.
Let's hope for an injury.
He breaks out into a cold sweat. He breaks into a cold sweat whenever he sees Harry Kane. Lovren. All you need to do is whisper Kane in his ear, and he just faints. Overall ranked 14k, very, very good indeed. Let's have a look at my team. 28 points so far this game week, guys. Not very good at all. I've got Lundstrom to play. 2 assists in my whole team.
Mighty Lundstrom. 2
assists. Sterling with the assist. And good old Frederic Gilbert. I mean, that was the only thing that made me smile on Saturday afternoon was Gilbert's assist. And as soon as he put that, as soon as the goal went in, I thought, oh, and I think it was, I can't remember on BT Sport who was covering the game, but they were saying, and the ball in from the right back, I was like, yes, Gilbert assist. The only thing that made me smile this weekend was the Gilbert assist. So the team is looking really bad, guys. 28 points. Overall rank of 233k, which, again, I hate to be really negative about that because I know that some of you guys have got ranks that are 1 million plus, right? So I'm not going to go too negative about it. I don't feel like it's terrible right now, but equally it's kind of not where I'd want to be necessarily. So, that, I mean, given that I was 140k coming into this game week, I'm going to be I'm about just below average, and I've lost 100k places. So,
well, not if Lundstrom saves your game week.
Let's see what Lundstrom does. But I think the point to make is that it is still really, really tight, guys.
It is. It's
and I know that I don't think we can say anymore that it's early days. I don't think we can keep saying it's early days. It's not early days, but at the same time, it is still very tight. So I get the feeling if this season continues as it continues, we could be into game week 13, 14, 15, which is absolutely not early days. That is well into the season, and still get these 50, 60, 70k swing game weeks. A decent game week you can get 200 or 300k plus, can't you?
You absolutely can.
It's very, very swingy right now. Very swingy.
Have you had any early transfer thoughts?
I haven't, other than I feel like the
Pukki
party has to disappear.
He's got Man City next.
Now again, I don't think he's got Man City next. No, he definitely hasn't. He's got Man United.
Oh no, they've just played. Oh, they've got United. Yeah, I knew they'd a Manchester club.
So it's Man United at home next, then Brighton away, Watford at home. So a couple of reasonable looking home games for Pukki. Pukki to Jimenez does look on for me, but I'm about 0.2 or 0.3 short of doing that because, of course, Pukki...
You'll jinx him.
Pukki is a little bit cheaper, so I do need to make a bit of surgery somewhere else to do that. Now, I could take money out of Otamendi, but I do fancy Otamendi becoming Robertson at some stage.
You just got one free transfer.
And I've got only one free transfer, so I think I'm going to take the tactic that I've tended to use so far this season and roll. Now, you ain't going to like this, but if in a couple of weeks I do Mount to Cho for money to get Jimenez or to get Robertson, that could happen, depending on whether Callum Hudson-Odoi does well again next game.
If you do this, you'll never catch me.
I'm not interested in... I am interested in catching you, but I've given up catching you a long time ago. You're 14k.
Not that far behind.
You're 14k.
But
I'm miles behind.
In actual points totals, you won't be that far behind.
Listen, if I'm 14k at any stage this season, or indeed next season, I'll be very happy. I haven't seen 14k for about 5 years. Whereas you seem to just be very, very comfortable in the top 20k, so I've given up chasing you. Anyway, guys, 28 points, rubbish, frankly. I need Lundstrom hat-trick to save my game week. Overall rank 233. Not very happy with it, but it is what it is. We march on. For those of you that are following us on SoundCloud, if you've been and checked out the live stream audio over there, what we do every week is we will take the audio from this live stream, stick it onto our SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/FPL Family. Again, where do you think the links are?
In the description
below. Links in the description below. soundcloud.com/FPL Family for our weekly podcast, which is effectively the audio of this live stream. So if you don't want to look at our faces, if you can't bear looking at the graphics because of that bad, then head over to SoundCloud and you can listen to us as a podcast. Now, I'm trying to get the technology working so that you can listen to us on your other favourite podcasting platforms like Spotify and Acast and all those sorts of ones. I'm working on that, guys. Bear with me. I'm fairly new to podcasting, but I'm getting my head around that. But right now, soundcloud.com/FPL Family is where you can go to download and listen to FPL Family audio for absolutely free. The only other thing to say before we disappear and do polls is that you, Sam, are on FPL FYI.
I am, yeah.
This game week.
I'm going to go and see Rambo and talk about Danny Ings.
You'll be seeing Mr. Alcott, James Alcott and Rambo on the FYI show this game week, where Rambo, I'm sure, will be absolutely delighted with his Danny Ings 7-pointer, or however many he got.
Yeah.
What did he get? 7, 8, 9? Something like that?
Knows, a lot. Also, keep an
Absolutely
eye
unreal.
on FF Scout next week for some, maybe some...
You're not allowed to say anything.
Maybe something.
You're not allowed to say anything.
Also, keep an eye out for all of the new pro pundits. There's lots of stuff coming out from them this week, I think. So
It's basically just giving that away, haven't you?
It's not anything to do with me. I said keep an eye on the new 5... There's 5 new pro pundits, aren't there? Azzy and...
Yeah, so guys, that's what... So Sammy's saying, keep an eye on Fantasy Football Scout and keep an eye on pro pundits. Might not have anything to do with either of us, but just keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
You've been sworn to secrecy. You're going to be in trouble with Fantasy Football Scout.
I have not said anything.
You're going to be in trouble.
All I've said is keep an eye out for the Scouts this week. Some more announcements.
Keep an eye on Fantasy Football Scout and what's their Twitter handle? @FF Scout and the hashtag Pro Pundits. Look out for some announcements about something. About some stage this week.
I haven't said the announcements were about the Pro Pundits.
No,
I said,
look out
for the Pro Pundits.
I didn't say that you did. Guys, get over to the polls. If you've not answered the questions in the polls, you've got about 5 seconds to do that. Let's see what you guys are saying. Is the Pukki party finally over, Sam? The options are, it was over a week ago, yep, we're done now, there's life in it yet, or party on forever. Those are the options.
I love your options. It was over a week ago.
It was over a week ago. 47% of the community agree with you.
It was over 2 weeks ago.
It was over a long time ago, Lee. Get out of that party, you absolute lunatic.
You're sick, bro.
35% are saying, yep, we're done now. So pretty much it's done. There's life in it yet, 12% saying, and 4% are party on forever.
Some Norwich fans in the stream.
Some Norwich fans in the live stream. Liverpool double up, Sam. We did talk about it very briefly earlier. Would you double up in defence with Trent and Robbo? Or would you double up in attack with Mo and Mane? Where would you go?
Oh, with Mo and Mane?
Yeah.
No, the defence then.
Double up on defence. Trent and Robbo, 45%. Interestingly, 54%. So the majority, only a small majority, but the majority going for attack. Mo and Mane. You guys must have a lot of money down the back of the sofa to afford Mo plus Mane. But 54% going for the attack in Liverpool double up. Like it. Arsenal strategy going forward. Get Aubameyang or keep him. So be loyal to Aubameyang effectively. Or get rid of him for Lacazette. Or have neither.
Have neither
in Arsenal attack. Interestingly, 47% agree with you. Bit split, actually, the FPL family community there. 47% no Arsenal attack. 47% keep or get Aubameyang. And then only 4% saying replace Aubameyang with Lacazette. So no love for Lacazette yet. But of course, we are yet to see him in action and how he's going to do on his return from injury. Otamendi, buy, hold or sell?
I'm going to say hold just because I don't know what I'm doing yet.
Got to hold with those fixtures, haven't you? 38% saying hold. 60% of you guys saying sell Otamendi ahead of, what was it, Villa at home and Southampton at home.
But it's more to do with the people that are coming back, isn't it? And the fact that he may just not get game time.
You could be right. Yes, you could be right. But buy is only 1%, so no one's getting Otamendi. But 38% of you are holding him. And 60% of you, almost 2/3, are selling. Goodness me. And Game Week 9's biggest troll. We've had some trolly game weeks this year, Sam. We've had some very trolly game weeks. But Kun Karam wanted to know what was Game Week 9's biggest troll. Was it Pep benching Aguero, the Wilson and Tammy blanks, the Digne clean sheet, or Jesus not passing to KDB?
It was Jesus.
46% are saying Jesus not passing to KDB was the biggest trolly thing this game week. 42% Wilson and Tammy blanks, 5% Digne clean sheet, and 5% Pep benching Aguero.
We're all just used to Pep benching people, so that's not so much of an issue anymore. We know Pep's going to do this. We should know
the Pep roulette is a thing, right? We talk about it every damn week. Yeah. Every damn week. So guys, thank you very much for joining us for another FPL family. Look out for Sam on FPL FYI later this week. Normally about Wednesday or Thursday it comes out, but if you head over to at FPL Family on Twitter and Instagram, we'll of course post the links when it becomes live. So get over there
and of course on the Facebook.
FPL FYI. We will of course post the links on Facebook for anybody using the Facebook. I think Mark Dorney uses the Facebook.
And my mum.
And your mum uses the Facebook. So on that basis, we have a Facebook page specifically for Sam's mum. Thank you for joining us, guys. A tough game week. Very, very tough game week. So if you're up into the high 30s, 40s, fair play. If Lundstrom is yet to play for you on Monday night, then come on, big man. Come on, Mr. Lundstrom. If you're up into the 50s, you're absolutely smashing it. So I know it's a tough game week, guys. Keep going. The season is it's tough. It's very, very tricky. It's very, very tricky.
It's great fun.
It's bonkers, isn't it? It's absolutely bonkers FPL this year. Guys, thank you for joining us. Hit that subscribe button before you go if you're new around here. Don't forget to leave us a like before you go, and we will see you this time next week when we'll be reacting to all of Game Week 10's action. Game Week 10 already. Goodness me. Good night, guys. See you soon.
See you soon, guys. Take care.